Did you know that when the fallen angels left heaven, they lost not only their light but also all hope? In that moment, a dark journey began, one that would never have a path back. These angels were called the Watchers, and each step they took raised questions for humanity. What do we think when they abandoned heaven to dwell with mankind? Was it mercy, or was it a grave mistake? But the surprise is that after everything, they begged God for forgiveness. And God responded in an unimaginable way. Part 1. The Fall of the Watchers. In the Book of Enoch, the fallen angels abandoned their noble positions to descend to the earthly world. They mingled with mankind, took women as wives, and bore children that belonged neither to heaven nor earth. These giant offspring, called the Nephilim, carried supernatural strength and an unending thirst. With each step, they spread fear, pushing humanity into a darkness with no escape. Villages were destroyed, people ran, but no one could escape their wrath. Food supplies dwindled. Humanity lived in misery and on the brink of survival. Not only consuming everything, the Nephilim fought humans for resources, causing chaos everywhere. One of them even knelt down, snatching the last morsel of food from human hands. In desperation, mankind prayed, looking up to the sky, clinging to a fragile hope for God's salvation. With nothing left, the giants turned on each other, creating horrific scenes. Around them lay corpses, both human and beast, remnants of endless destruction. The people prayed together, and their cries echoed across the earth. These sorrowful prayers reached heaven, where God and the angels bore witness. The archangels saw the urgent threat with determination in their eyes, prepared for God's mission. With power and majesty, the archangels appeared, bringing hope's light to mankind. Heaven sent down a bright light, so earth would know that justice was soon to be served. Part 2. The Sins of the Giants. Initially, when there was no more food, the Nephilim began slaughtering mankind. Nephilim attacked not only humans, but spread bloodshed and despair everywhere. In their insatiable hunger, they even turned on each other, creating a horrifying scene of violence. Humanity, with no other way, desperately prayed to heaven for salvation. God heard their cries and commanded the archangels to bring justice. Uriel, bearing the light of judgment, was sent to punish the fallen. Gabriel, holding the strength of heaven, prepared to descend to restore order on earth. Raphael, the angel of mercy, prepared to bring healing to those who prayed. Michael, the strongest archangel, raised his sacred sword, ready to fight. All four archangels, with divine light, looked down upon the earth with majesty. They sent down heaven's light to earth, signaling that judgment and redemption were near. The archangels descended, their radiance illuminating everything around them with power and awe. The Nephilim, seeing the light from heaven, became panicked, no longer daring to advance. Humanity witnessed and hoped, believing that heaven had heard their cries. With faith, they sensed the strength of heaven, as justice and power prepared to descend. The archangels stood there, surrounded by supreme power, ready to carry out God's judgment. Part 3. God sends archangels to punish. God sent Enoch, his messenger, to the Watchers to convey their sentence of judgment. With a divine mission, Enoch was chosen to speak for God, delivering heaven's judgment. Enoch held the sacred book in his hands, recording God's words, each page glowing with holy light. Enoch told the Watchers, "Your sins are unforgivable, and you shall bear the consequences forever." Hearing the sentence, the fallen angels felt fear, but it was too late now. One of them knelt, tears falling, hoping to alter his fate somehow. But heaven had decided, and a radiant light granted Enoch the power of God's judgment. Without hesitation, Enoch declared they would never return to heaven. "You shall witness the death of your children and be bound forever to the earthly realm." Despair filled the Watchers as they realized all hope was lost. The sky darkened, reflecting heaven's sternness toward the betrayers. The Watchers were bound, no escape left, facing the eternal punishment decreed by heaven. Enoch, having fulfilled his sacred task, looked up to heaven with respect and peace in his soul. He walked away, leaving the darkness to the fallen, continuing his own path in the light. Humanity gradually found peace as the shadow of the fallen angels faded away. Enoch returned to his humble life, knowing in his heart he had completed his great mission. Part 4. Enoch delivers God's message. Enoch returned to a simple life, filled with joy for fulfilling his divine mission. He carried the light of heaven, sharing peace and kindness with those around him. The dawn rose, casting the light of hope over the village, where life returned to peace. Everyone lived harmoniously, working and laughing together, remembering the time before the Nephilim. The story of the Watchers was told to future generations, a lesson in faith and justice. Children listened, wide-eyed with curiosity, these stories of legend teaching them to grow strong. Laughter echoed as children played under the sun, a symbol of rebirth after the nightmare. The vast heaven always watching, looking down on humanity with eternal mercy and protection. Heaven shone brightly, a symbol of justice, kindness, and never-ending protection. The angels still watched over humanity as a sacred guardianship between heaven and earth. The people prayed, expressing gratitude to heaven for protecting them through hardships. Everything seemed peaceful and harmonious, as though heaven and earth became one. The sound of church bells rang, filling the air with gratitude and tranquility. Humanity lived in heaven's light, always remembering that everything came from God's kindness. Peace and kindness flourished, and people knew they were always protected and guided by God. Heaven quietly watched over, guarding humanity from unknown dangers until eternal peace arrives. Part 5. The Desperate Plea of the Watchers. Enoch sat, reading the Book of God, feeling the weight of the message he conveyed. The fallen angels were imprisoned in darkness, never to return to heaven. Their offspring, the Nephilim, were turned into evil spirits, wandering the earth and terrifying mankind. These dark spirits were filled with hatred, the suffering of beings once angelic, now only shadows. Humankind faced this darkness, sensing the presence of evil spirits around them. Mysterious occurrences spread everywhere, marks left by the evil spirits of the Nephilim. Prophets warned, reminding humanity of the power of darkness and how to stay clear of it. Humanity lived cautiously, adhering to ethics to avoid the temptations that could lead to doom. The story of Enoch and the Watchers became a lesson that children remembered and learned from. Adults reminded their children to hold on to faith and live righteously to resist darkness. Sunlight shone over the village, dispelling the darkness, symbolizing faith and goodness. Humanity lived in gratitude, praying and holding fast to the protection of heaven. The church bell rang, a reminder that God always watches over and protects them. Children's laughter filled the air, a sign of their peaceful and safe lives. A scene of heaven shining brightly, welcoming all good souls, bringing endless peace. Ending in peace, a powerful message of trust in God's protection and love. Part 6. Enoch's prophetic dream. Enoch, having completed his sacred mission, continued his journey in peace, blending with nature. The fallen angels stood in darkness, full of regret, realizing they would never be forgiven. They remembered their children, the Nephilim, spirits now wandering in the void. Each glance toward heaven brought the pain of knowing every hope of return was gone. The villagers prayed with gratitude, asking for God's protection to live in eternal peace. The small lantern outside each home symbolized unwavering faith in God's everlasting light. Children prayed innocently, each prayer a belief in the heavenly protection over them. The old church, where everyone gathered to pray, stood as a symbol of loyalty and bond with God. The ancient book that recorded Enoch's story held lessons of faith and justice on every page. An adult gently closed the book, preserving its sacred lessons for future generations. The sun rose over the hill, lighting the village and bringing hope for a peaceful new day. Under heaven's light, people smiled and continued their lives, always sheltered by its grace. The vast heaven, with angels guarding, served as an eternal shield for the earth below. The people looked up to heaven, hearts filled with faith, knowing they were never alone. The ancient story ended, but its faith and lessons would forever remain in everyone's heart. The vast heaven shone with eternal light over humanity, concluding the story with peace. Part 7. God's Final Judgment. Enoch walked peacefully, leaving heaven but feeling content for completing his mission. The angel Gabriel, with kind eyes, watched over humanity, protecting them from coming dangers. The vast heaven, guarded by angels, symbolized eternal protection for the earthly realm. Villagers gathered in the church, candles glowing, praying for God's shelter and grace. Enoch's story was retold, and children listened with reverence and admiration for the legend. After hearing the story, children prayed in unison, holding strong to faith in heavenly protection. Sunlight shone through the church window, illuminating the people's hearts with hope and faith. The wandering souls of the Nephilim were now bound forever, a warning to mankind. Villagers placed a candle outside, sending prayers to heaven, trusting in God's light. Heaven reflected on the water's surface, a sign of divine protection and love for humanity. A villager looked up to the sky, filled with faith in heaven and hope to overcome hardships. An angel stood atop a mountain, watching over humanity, symbolizing eternal guardianship. The villagers united in prayer and gratitude, peace enveloping everyone. Enoch looked back on his journey, feeling peace, knowing his divine mission was fulfilled. The sky brightened, promising a future filled with light and heaven's everlasting protection. People and angels joined in prayer, an expression of reverence and loyalty to God. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to stay updated with more mysterious and profound stories from the Bible. If this video brought you new insights, please like, comment, and share your thoughts. See you in the next mystical story.